So you know how last week I said I would come back refreshed and with a longer video? Haha, that was a funny joke, because I am neither refreshed nor here with a longer video. My plan was to actually continue landscape practicing and talk about world building a little more, but my good friend Blackshadow messaged me requesting a special thumbnail for a Genshin Impact lore theory video. Unfortunately, due to suddenly life, I ended up not finishing this until quite late in the week, which is why you get a very short video today, and I am very sorry. I did put just as much love and effort into this video, and I did the best I could in the span of time I ended up having. So, let's get into today's video! I struggled with the sketch for a super long time because for some reason my brain could not comprehend the idea of hands plus face. In my defense, preceding this midnight drawing of Genshin Impact characters, I had completed a nerve-wracking job interview, followed by like several hours of Stardew Valley to make me feel like a human again, before making dinner and having guests over, one of which was a new person. Now maybe if you're normal and properly functioning and a social human being, you're like, wow, that sounds like a good and normal time. For me, an introvert with crippling anxiety, it was exhausting. Which is why you get a fun and funky fresh face reveal-ish. Actually, I have put my face in videos before, but if you haven't seen those videos, I apologize for destroying the illusion. I'm not in fact a little mushroom druid with antlers as my profile picture might suggest. But yeah, pro tip, use reference pictures. Sketch over your reference pictures, and if you can't find a reference picture of what you want, do your best and make the reference picture yourself. I did want to say something about the style of the piece. I don't have a necessarily realistic style by any means, but I wouldn't say my style is akin to that seen in Genshin Impact or animes and mangas. So you better believe I had tons of references and spent a lot of time on getting the head and face shapes correct. Funnily enough, I think when I go to color the face, as per usual, I lose a sketch at some point and just fix it again, and it's kind of different. It's art out of my comfort zone again, but you know, that's a good thing. It really distracted my mind from worrying about the interview after it had already been completed, and it gave me something besides world building to focus on, and it's just a good practice to try things out of your typical range. If you're a fellow anxiety haver though, you know what it's like. You have a video call on Thursday in the afternoon, so you have to be dressed and look presentable at least an hour before that. You need an hour to cook and eat something before that, and you need time to clean up your background and test your microphone and webcam and make sure your video hosting program is all updated and in order, and then you need to make sure you have water close by in case you start choking, but not too much water in case you start choking, and then you realize you're having guests over not long after your interview, so the house needs to be mostly cleaned the day before. But you won't have enough energy or time or hot water to do your dishes, and it's still only Sunday, and you're out of energy just thinking about what you have to do to be ready by Thursday. Oh yeah, and here's where I forgot to keep recording, and suddenly there's a lot that's done. Rip. If you're wondering why my canvas is always on the far left of the screen, it's because of the way I position myself when I draw. I'm actively hunched over the drawing tablet with my hand constantly resting on the button that I have preset to undo, or the scroll wheel. And then my right arm is on the other corner of the drawing tablet. But instead of just gently balancing my wrist on the edge, for some reason I have to put like half of my forearm and cover up half of the screen anyways. Also another weird thing is, like, if you're old enough that you were taught cursive in school, you'll remember the slanting your paper when you write so your letters would have an even slant, and consequently, I slant everything I write on and draw on if possible. Sticky notes, drawing tablets, everything. I feel like it doesn't show very long in the video, but I was seriously lamenting the fur on Sandrone's cloak. The cloak itself is beautiful, but fur! Last week when drawing landscapes, I totally took for granted not having to draw fur or hair or anything like that. Also, yeah, it's very clear at this point that the picture is of Sandrone, who I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, with a little Catherine marionette. You know the Catherine. Ad Astra Abyssosque. Also, not me finally letting you know what this picture is about, like halfway through the drawing. I don't keep up with Genshin Impact lore very much, but my friend Blackshadow does, and he does pretty good, clear, concise descriptions of the theories and lore surrounding Genshin Impact and the character stories. So if you want to learn more about Sandrone and Catherine or other Genshin Impact lore, head over to Blackshadow's channel. As of posting this video, the Catherine video is not up on his channel, but as soon as it is, which should be next week, I'll put a link in the description for it. And you will see this image, well, the completed image, as the thumbnail for the video. Which is weird because now I'm realizing that I'm going to have to make a thumbnail that includes this thumbnail to advertise my drawing video of a thumbnail.
So you just gonna bring me a birthday gift on my birthday to my birthday party on my birthday with a birthday gift?
So, as you saw, I sort of darkened the image and made the image higher contrast. I really wanted the coming out of the dark to haunt your dreams look, with her very bright eyes and everything else sort of being muted and dark. Which is why you don't see me spend a ton of time with the details. For once I actually decide to save myself some time and not draw every single details that I will inevitably cover up with a blur or a vignette. Sandrone is a very beautiful Genshin Impact character in my opinion. She has this epic heavy looking cloak with the fur on her shoulders, and she's always pictured with the cool giant automaton, which honestly she and the machine make for a very epic subject matter for fan art. She usually has a very cool neutral expression on her face, however Blackshadow asked specifically for a grin in the thumbnail, so I tried to capture sort of that calm and collected but still psycho look that frequents webtoons and manga. And if you've read probably one of my favorite webtoons, Your Throne by Sam, and know the character Lady Medea Solon, you know exactly what I mean and exactly who I was trying to channel through this image. Oh, here's my favorite part, working on the strings. Now, I know this isn't how a puppet works, but leave me alone because I am just sparkly web like strings go burr. Here I put the very famous error line over Catherine's eyes. One of the things that seemed to support the theory, of which I'm not going to further elaborate on because all I play Genshin Impact for is to collect all the characters. And no, I'm not even close to having all the characters. But I do have 3 chickens in Stardew Valley, and their names are Apatosaurus, Stegosaurus, and Pteranodon. And here I do my classic thumbnail title thing. I always use the impact font with less paragraph spacing and increased kerning between the letters. Also, yes, I am aware that I did in fact spell Catherine incorrectly. I'm missing an E between the H and R. I do fix this off screen in post. And then I wanted to up the brightness and contrast a little more, and my program crashed. Epic wallpaper by WLOP, 10 out of 10. Probably my favorite artist. So I have to go back and redo the little white spots with a heavier motion blur this time, and I successfully changed the lighting. And here's the final product with the spelling corrected. So I made the Catherine yellow to sort of mute the white down without taking focus away from it. And to be honest, I forgot the colon after Catherine, and I wanted to create the distinction without having to fix the text for a 3rd time, because at that point, I was done. I'm pretty proud of how she turned out, and Blackshadow was super happy with the final product. Again, I'm super excited to check out his lore video that's coming out next week, and I recommend you check it out too. His channel is always a good time, and I pop up in there from time to time. Not often, in like 2 or 3 videos tops. Mostly you can find me in the thumbnails, but it's still always a good time. As always, you're all amazing. Thank you so much for your support, for following me along in this chaotic journey of never knowing what sort of art video you're gonna get next. Eat your veggies, stay hydrated, don't be like me, both dehydrated and procrastinating. But next week, I have a plan and I'm going to stick to it. Or at least, I'm gonna do my best to stick to it, because what are my little brain cells up to? Who knows? Not me.
What?